For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain.
Now he said, for me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. I'm going to remind you again that Paul clearly understood, didn't he?
Yes,
that,
sir.
you know, that Jesus would return.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to resurrect the righteous dead. He understood that, didn't he? He just told you that in Thessalonians when we read Thessalonians. Didn't he say that?
Mm-hmm.
So he understood that. I just want you to be clear that he understood that. Because this here, it's got a little gray around it, and they like to use this to try to get you to heaven. But Paul clearly understood what was going to happen. The righteous was going to be in the ground until the coming of the Lord. He understood that. Go ahead and read on.
But if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor.
Go ahead.
Yet what I shall choose I wot not.
They say if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor. What I should choose, I don't know. Go ahead and read.
For I am in the strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better.
Well, he said having a desire to depart and be with Christ. Be with Christ when?
Resurrection.
When he comes, right?
Yes, sir.
He ain't going to be with him before then. Because the righteous is in the ground until the coming of the Lord,
sir.
right? And so you ain't going to be with Christ until Christ returns, right? So he's not telling you, I'm going to depart and go be with Christ today. In other words, I'm getting ready to die, and right away, boom, I'm going to be with Christ. You ain't going to be with Christ until he returns.
That's right, brother.
And Paul understood that because he said it himself.
Yes,
in
sir.
Thessalonians, he said it, and he said it in 1 Corinthians 15 too. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 24.
Go ahead and read.
Nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you.
Now he said, but if I abide in the flesh, it is more needful to you. And the reason it is because I am your teacher. And if I abide in the flesh and continue to teach you, it is more needful for you.
Yes,
but he
sir.
said, now if I die, then I'm in good shape because I've been walking in the word of Christ. Go ahead and read on.
And having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and joy of faith.
See what I said? And having this confidence, I know I'm going to abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and enjoyment of faith. Go ahead and read on.
That your rejoicing may be more abundant in Jesus Christ for me by my coming to you again.
Go ahead.
Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ, that whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs.
Now that is good. So now, you know, is he talking about dying and going to be with Christ that moment?
No, sir.
No, he's going to be with Christ at his coming. Because he told you about the coming of the Lord. He said, then we will be with Christ. You know, the righteous dead will be raised, will be with him, and the righteous living will be changed and be with him. At what time? At his coming.
Yes,
But
sir.
they read you this and tell you, Paul is talking about he getting ready to die and go be with Christ today. Let's go further. Let's go to let's go to John chapter 14, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. 14 and 1. 14 and 1. Okay, you get it? Go ahead and read John chapter 14, and we'll begin at verse 1. 14 and 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
Let not your heart be troubled.
Uh-huh.
Ye believe in God, believe also in me.
Go ahead.
In my Father's house are many mansions.
Uh-huh.
If it were not so, I would have told you.
Go ahead.
I go to prepare a place for you.
Uh-huh.
And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself.
Go ahead.
That where I am, there you may be also.
Now they read this to get you to heaven. He said, I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go, I will come again, receive you unto myself, that where I am, that's where you may be also. We're going to find out where he's going to be. Let's go to Psalm chapter 132, and we'll begin reading at verse 11. Psalm 132, and we'll pick it up at verse 11. 132 and 11. 132 and 11. So all he said was, I go to prepare a place. If I go, I will come again, receive you unto myself, that where I am, that's where you will be also. And it meant exactly what it said. But what you need to understand is, where will he be? Let's go to Psalm 132 and begin at verse 11. 132 and 11. Go ahead and read.
The Lord has sworn in truth unto David.
Go ahead.
He will not turn from it.
Uh-huh.
Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne.
Now he swore in truth unto David and told David of the fruit of David's body, he will sit up on David's throne. And we going to understand who this fruit is. Because Solomon was the fruit of David's body. And see, he sat on the throne of David. But this is not Solomon here. Go ahead and read.
If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them.
Now he said, if the children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I will teach them. Go ahead and read.
Their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore.
And then they too will sit up on the throne forevermore. Go ahead and read on.
For the Lord hath chosen Zion. He hath desired it for his habitation.
They have chosen Zion, and he has desired it. But you know what a habitation means? That is a place that you will live.
That's right, brother.
That's what a habitation is. So he has chosen Zion, and he has desired it for his habitation. Go ahead and read.
This is my rest forever.
This is my rest, he said, forever. Go ahead.
Here will I dwell.
Go ahead.
For I have desired.
And he letting you know he's going to dwell in Jerusalem. That's what Jesus is saying here. And this is Jesus, because let's go to Acts chapter 2 and pick it up at verse 29. So you'll understand this is Jesus. We getting there, y'all. You ain't got much longer. Just hold on a little while longer. Acts 2 and verse 29. Just so you'll understand that that is Jesus that will sit in Jerusalem even forever. 2 and 29. 2 and 29. Okay, go ahead and read. 2 and 29. Read.
Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day.
David dead and buried, his sepulchre is even with us until this day. Go ahead and read on.
Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God has sworn with an oath to him.
Now, David was a prophet, and he understood that God had sworn with an oath unto him. And what did God swear with the oath unto him? That of the fruit of David's loins would sit up on David's throne even forever in Jerusalem. Go ahead and read on.
That of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh,
Go ahead.
he would raise up Christ to sit on his throne.
So now who is that that's going to sit on David's throne in Jerusalem forever? Jesus.
That's right, brother.
Yes, you need a little clarification? Let's go to Luke chapter 1, and we'll pick it up at verse 30. Luke 1, and we'll begin at verse 30. Just want you to understand where the righteous is going to be. They ain't we've been reading all day, they ain't went to heaven yet, have
No, sir. No, sir.
Closest thing you got was, you know, they're going to meet him in the clouds and in the air. That's the closest you got.
Yes,
it didn't say he was going back to heaven, and it didn't say he was coming to earth either, did it?
No, sir.
But he did say, where he is, that's where you going to be, right? Yes. Well, we just found out where he going to be, right? Where he going to be? He going to be in Jerusalem. Right. So where you going? If you going to be with him, where you going to be? In
Jerusalem, brother.
That's just common sense. I told you this ain't rocket science we dealing with here. You know, the simplicity of Christ. The problem is, don't nobody want to believe the Bible. Everybody want to go with whatever tradition that they've been brought up in. You know, that sounds good to me. I like that. So I'm going to go there. Because I like the ministry there. It sounds good. It's nice and smooth. You know, it don't talk about, you know, you going to hell and burning in the lake of fire and all of that. And you know, you got to obey some commandments. And see, I don't want to hear that. I'm going to go over here. Because see, he's going to tell me exactly what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. The only thing he going to ask is that I bring him some money.
That's right, brother.
And he will stroke me up and down.
That's right, brother. Yes, sir.
And that's what I won't just say Israel. That's what men looking for, some stroking. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't looking to hear the truth. Uh-huh. And that is the problem. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody want to hear this. Right. Why you think we got this handful of people sitting here? You understand what I'm saying?
Sir.
Go to one tomorrow where they going to stroke you at. And it is about 50 times as big as this, and it is full standing room only.
That's right, brother. Yes, sir.
But they ain't going to tell you nothing that you need to know in order to save yourself. And that's what this is about, saving yourself. So now we read in Psalms that of the fruit of David's body, he would sit up on David's throne in Jerusalem forever. then we understood, we allowed the Bible to interpret itself. And the Bible said that